Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live from the News Hub. I am Wendy Lai. Coming up this afternoon. Over 1,000 residents of Achim Isuom in the Kwaibirim district of the Eastern region rendered homeless following a 3-hour downpour. An assessment of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program by the Gender Ministry shows the program risks collapse due to weak physical performance. And also in this bulletin, a surprise announcement from Ghana's leading media conglomerate, Media General, parent company of TV3 Network Limited. And on the firing front, Nigeria deploys extra troops and planes to search for 110 schoolgirls believed to have been abducted by Boko Haram militants. I've got details of these stories and many more lined up. Let's start now. And a middle-aged woman at Boteman in Accra collapsed Sunday morning when her house, together with about 100 others, were demolished. Now, the houses were believed to have been situated on a government property meant for agricultural purposes.
Joyce Botelli could not stand the sight of her 2-bedroom apartment being demolished. The demolition had come as a shock to her and other property owners in the area, as there was no prior notice. Apparently, the land on which the demolished buildings were situated belonged to the government, meant for agricultural purposes. But Joyce's husband claims the land is a Nungwa's land. He indicated it was given to his family for free 2 years ago by the then Willem Mayor, since they are natives of Nungwa. After securing the land, I went to the Lands Commission to make my own investigations, and I was told I could go ahead to build, since I'm a native of Nungwa. The exercise was led by Director of Operations of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Superintendent Kwesi Ofori, who assured the police commitment to protect government land and property.
One thing of worry is in between bungalows, in between government facilities, you see private developers putting up their structures. It's uncalled for. It's improper and unlawful. Let me use this opportunity to warn the land guard to keep off this area. The police in their routine patrols, operations will be coming here, to protect officials, personnel, and facilities here.
Over the last 2 months, the Regional Police Command has conducted special operations against land guards in areas like Weija, Airport East, Abokobi, Adenta, Weibi, and have arrested some 200 land guards who are currently being processed in court.
Mostly in the day you see them as land guards, in the night they go out as robbers. So we have a holistic program in place, not only the regional headquarters, but we have police formations that are all part of these exercises. So I would say that we need public support in this direction.
It was also observed some houses in the community had illegally connected electricity from the national grid.
Now to one of our headline stories. Away from the Greater Accra region, a heavy downpour has rendered hundreds of residents at Achim Isuom in the Kwaibirim district of the Eastern region homeless. The heavy rains, which lasted over 3 hours Sunday afternoon, destroyed homes, churches, buildings, markets, school structures and shops. Whereas affected were school buildings in that very district. Now, joining me on the phone line this afternoon is the Assemblyman for Adanse Electoral Area, Kosi Ebrifa Buzia. Hello, sir. Thanks for agreeing to speak with us.
Thanks, and good afternoon to your
Now,
viewers and listeners.
What is the state of the community a day after the rainstorm?
Oh, thanks very much. NADMO officials have been here, municipal chief executive, including engineer, the police, fire service. We also have electricity company also working on the electrical cables and other fallen poles that happened during the rain. Looking at the situation of the schools, you see, we had Prezi cluster of schools that is made up of about 3 streams of the primary, 2 kindergarten blocks, and then the JHS. These buildings were all affected. So the municipal director of education, together with the engineers, came around, and we are finding a temporary structure for them to live and then steady in, so that we can go on with either collapsing totally the buildings and then putting up new ones or not.
So is that to say that no classes held today for the affected schools?
Yes, please. But the teachers are still managing the people so that they may not go out of the school, so that they don't get knocked by vehicles and others. So we are around managing the situation so that we can be able to keep things under control.
So for clarity's sake, one, you said no classes held, and in another vein you said the teachers are managing the situation. Is it that they're using that very structure that got affected?
They have camped all the students in one of the chapels around and trying to, strike them, especially the Form 3. As for them, we've gotten a temporary structure for them to study in because they are almost preparing for their final exam. So they've started packing their chairs into that.
And you also touched on early on that
to Health Insurance to use temporarily as their office. So they are packing.
I think we're having some
so that it
difficulty.
doesn't affect their final exam.
Okay, now finally, before I let you go, you mentioned that NADMO is in there. What exactly are they doing? Are they giving relief items? Are they counting those who've been affected? Tell us exactly what NADMO is doing in there.
They are visiting household by household. That means that is those that were affected, and they are writing their names, getting more information about them, so that something relief can be given to them. I was closer to the NADMO director when his regional boss called, as well as the national boss called, and they were asking of if there could be any emergency that should be given to them to help relieve our people who are in distress.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I've been speaking to the assemblyman for the Danse electoral area, Kosi Abrifi. I will bring you some more updates on that very story. And now to some exciting news for our viewers. Media General, owners of TV3, has great news for our viewers, especially in relation to entertainment. And our group CEO, Pearlisia Mensah, is in the studio, and her guest also as the CEO of Charterhouse, Theresa Ayuade, to give us some more updates exactly on what exactly I have been sharing with you. We had it as one of our top stories this afternoon. Good afternoon, and thanks for your time.
Good afternoon.
Now I'm starting with you, Pearl. Now tell us exactly what this surprise is about.
Well, Media General and Charterhouse are happy to announce a partnership that would allow millions of Ghanaians across the country unlimited access to the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, which is slated for the 14th of April, 2018.
So you had it first here on Midday Live. It has to do with the VGMAs. Now, Theresa, what is this partnership really about for us?
Well, what this means for viewers of TV3 is that you get to enjoy the full 360 experience of the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards exclusively on TV3. So
no other media house?
For TV. For TV. So basically, you can tune in from Friday, the 2nd of March, to get exclusive access to the announcement of the nominees for this year's event. And we'll bring you news from the launch, from the launch party taking place on Saturday at Movenpick as well. And then TV3 will bring you a live experience from the nominees jam in Cape Coast on 24th March. And TV3 will bring you exclusive access to the red carpet of the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, so you can watch your celebrities and see who's wearing what and all the glitz and glamour from the red carpet or the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, as well as backstage scenes and footage that you normally would not see on screen.
I think that's a lot more interesting.
Yes, yes, the things that go into making the event happen, and all the oohs and ahs and the reactions from the winners and all of that. So TV3 bringing you all that access, and of course you can watch the main event live on TV3 from beginning to end as well. And to climax it, TV3 will bringing you live access from the Celebration Jam, which will be done in Tema on the 28th of April as well. So it's a full 360 experience of the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards.
She keeps reiterating 360, and for TV3 we've been known as first in news, best in entertainment, and especially for this year with our specific focus on local content. Is this part of it?
Yes, well, as you know, TV3, Ghana's leading TV station, we believe in promoting our own. Over the years, we have led the industry in supporting the creative arts industry. We've promoted local content across music, drama, movies, news, and current affairs. I mean, for our viewers, it's an exciting time, hours of entertaining and engaging content. And for our partners and advertisers, it's a unique opportunity for them to have a platform to engage with their audience. So I think overall, it's going to be an exciting time for everybody.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I have been speaking with Pearl Essien-Mensah. She is the CEO. But even before we wrap up, that's it. You're seeing it live. That's the signing of that very memorandum of understanding to ensure that everything goes on well. So there you have it. TV3 will be airing the VGMAs. This partnership is to enrich a viewing experience for you, our viewers, as well. So we're grateful for your time. Theresa Ayowade, she is the CEO of Charterhouse, and also Pearl Essien-Mensah, Group CEO TV3. We're grateful for your time. So there you have it. Be watching TV3 for the sights and sounds and everything that has to do with the Ghana Music Awards. You're still watching Midday Live. Can we go? All right, let's move on to other stories. And Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD, arrested a total of 445 drivers in January this year for varying road traffic offences as against 153 same period last year. A total of 432 out of 436 of the offenders have been convicted and fined. A total of 207,190 cedis. Now, the MTTD blamed the growing spate of road traffic offences on indiscipline.
The offending drivers were apprehended for excessive speeding, overloading, drunk driving, use of worn-out tires, driving without license, driving with expired license, riding without crash helmet, among others. In all, a total of 445 offending drivers were arrested in the period under review, compared to 153 the same period last year. The Greater Accra region topped the chart with 412 offenders, followed by the Ashanti region with 37 cases and Bono Hafo 27. Out of a total of 436 cases sent to court, 28 were discharged. 332 offending drivers were convicted to a total of 207,190 cedis. 6 of the convicted drivers who were unable to pay their fines are currently serving jail terms. 14 cases are still awaiting trial, whilst bench warrants have been issued for 23 offenders who failed to appear in court. The alarming revelation prompted the police to institute an engagement with the public.
Let us put the best road safety practices in practice as vehicle owners, as drivers, as vehicle occupants, and as pedestrians. Now, say yes, sir. Ni edim rasu kakrape.
The American House Forum was organized by the East Legon District Police.
More often than not, we as members of the public are quick to attribute such road accidents to bad road condition, engineering problems, and for that matter, blame the authority, while we lose sight of the fact that human factor contributes the greatest percentage of these fatalities.
Some of the drivers reacted to the exercise.
It is a fact that human error constitutes major road accidents because vehicles do not move by themselves. If we remain focused and adhere to all road safety measures, accident will reduce. This is a good initiative by the police. Wrong overtaking, speeding, and other misconducts on the road are avoidable. We need to respect the road safety rules.
The program is expected to be reciprocated across various localities, including schools, churches, mosques, and lorry parks within the East Legon Policing District.
So watching Media Live, and we're still staying with the police service, and the Ghana Police Service will cooperate fully with the investigations and actions taken by the United Nations in the alleged sexual assault investigations. Director General of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu, spoke on News 360 on Sunday evening.
We received this not too very good news on Friday through a correspondence from our permanent mission in New York. In the report, the UN mission in South Sudan, UNMISS, indicated that a detachment of the Ghanaian Formed Police Unit currently performing peacekeeping duties have been cited in an alleged case of sexual abuse and exploitation. And then the UN has, based on the allegation, the UN has started investigations into the incident. So that's the report that we received last Friday. From the report that we have, 46 of the Formed Police Unit who are in operation in one of the protection sites or POC sites, protection of civilian sites in WOW, were cited for this alleged misconduct. And I understand the reports were from early January up to early February. We have the Office of Internal Oversight Unit of the United Nations, and then we also have the Conduct and Discipline Unit in the mission that ensures that the UN rules and regulations are respected by both staff members of the UN and the uniformed personnel. Uniformed personnel, I'm talking about police and other peacekeepers who go on the peacekeeping missions. Yeah. When we received the news, we immediately, the Inspector General of Police immediately sent a response indicating our full support and cooperation with the United Nations in any investigations that they would conduct, and then any sanctions that will come out if they are found guilty. So, of course, we are supporting those investigations, and then we also requested permission to allow a 3-member team from the Ghana Police Service to access to the mission area to also get acquainted with events there and also check a few facts. But the investigations is solely conducted by the United Nations as I speak now.
And now let's head to the Ashanti region, where my colleague Beatrice Piogaba brings us educational challenges at the Akrori RC Basic School.
Education is a right, and school children have the right to study under conducive environments to learn. But for pupils of Akrori RC Basic School, education is a privilege. This is because of where they sit to acquire knowledge to become responsible persons in the country. This structure that you are seeing is where these pupils, numbering over 100, study. That is the lower primary from class 1 to class 3. They were previously studying under this structure, which was demolished since 2012 because of the weak structure that it was. According to school authorities here, the structure became a death trap because the concrete and the walls were breaking and pupils were being affected. So per the instructions from the District Assembly, that is Ejisu Municipal Assembly, in 2012, they had to pull the structure down and make do with this shift where these people study in a roofing sheet. And one can imagine the heat that these people have to sit in from morning till after 2 p.m. that school is closed. I have the PTA chairman with me here who will be telling us what the PTA has been doing about this structure.
Fancy free 2012 no, and na dino bonkalana ne je echo new na summary mine ne company for years so yenye sa structure we niema nkwala mbrem nti stay ke even ya ampa sa adwene na kan nkikum nkwala we say da wie mu hono na nkwala na pon na fam ba bi buye na ma yibu yaka ne nyina free 2012 no be si sabre kwan bia esese ye fa so wa esese nke sabre no ofa ya mo aponko MP che be bia esese de fa e wo ye district mu han se ye de fa abesi ne ye man that move mpanifo be hwe se ade no nke kum ye ma no be bi e fa be bi abu agu ya mankwala na ba ha enso be si ne ye nti de o ma kan ti se nyame ya do na se mo TV3 for mbetimi de akọ aban maman na ban na timi aye ho bibi aman anke pepa free se na nanom kwan o ma fa so titru ne assembly maeski e kwan na se o fa so bia no fa so enso bisi ne yen hunu hwe.
You're still watching Media Live. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying. An assessment of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program, LEAP, managed by the General Ministry, has shown that the program risks collapse due to weak fiscal performance as a result of dwindling grant over the years. Now, the research also found out that there has been an increment of cash transfers by 24.9% across broad between 2013 and 2017, cushioning the social safety net for beneficiaries of LEAP in all 216 districts across the country. The research conducted by governance think tank Pemplas Bite has also found out that the Ghana school feeding program caterers have sourced for foodstuffs from farmers that were unable to meet the standards and capacity required for caterers in terms of quality and quantity. Recommendations for the research grouped under the Policy Innovation, Data Management Capacity and Community Buying are expected to help advocate for reforms when necessary in the social protection policy making and will be presented by the General Ministry tomorrow after its launch. And joining me in the studio this afternoon is Nana Kwabena Abraham-Parmenter, Research and Programs Officer at CDD, and also Kwame Ahiabenu, who is the Executive Director for Pemplas Bite. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Now, with focus on social accountability, now let me start with you, Nana Kwame. Have we fared well as a country?
This is a broadly general question that you're asking me. Let me take the opportunity to greet our listeners this afternoon. Yeah, I'll say yes and no. Yes and no, because accountability has two aspects. It has supply side and demand side. For supply side, you agree with me that various structures have been established by the ministry and the various agencies in charge of ensuring that service provision at the local level works and the quality of it are improved. So then you could say year in, year out, the ministry, including office of the head of the local service, coming up to review policy framework, bringing up new frameworks for it to work. For instance, we go to the districts now, we have gender desk, you have youth authority office, the social welfare and community development department have been mandated to register all persons living with disability in each district. We have client service desk. All these are sought to ensure that the marginalized interest, people who otherwise feel shy of entering into the district assemblies, have places that they can easily go to channel their complaints. However, these are not translating into quality of services that are being provided at the district. That's why there's the need for us to also revamp the demand side of accountability, where citizens are mobilized to get involved actively and effectively in the activities of the assembly so as to ensure that what quality of services that they want are provided for them.
Now, let me get to you, Kwame. I know that PEMPLASBY does a lot of research as well, and you're working with CDD on this. Now, he spoke about citizens contributing to accountability. Now, what could be the reason why we're actually not seeing this, especially to push good governance in our country?
Thanks very much. I think citizens' participation in any policy-making process is quite important because they are the end recipients of whatever service we're going to offer. But in the past, based on a number of factors, we don't have the voices of the citizens, largely because we have a system which is still centralized, though we are supposed to have a decentralized form of governance. So for us, we believe that some of these policies can maybe receive better marks if we have added more voices from citizens, and that is lacking. So one of the things that we want to focus on during our event tomorrow is to look at how can we ensure that citizens can communicate their concerns, their needs, their wants, and their wishes in policy making. More importantly, to as Abrampa said, how do we ensure that at the decision maker side of the coin, they are willing and able to accept those feedback? Sometimes they tell you that when we receive feedback, it's very difficult to take because you may not like it. But we believe that if we don't input feedback into any process, whatever we're doing, we cannot receive the best end result. So for us, citizens' participation needs to be improved, and we are lacking in that department. And that should be a focus of ensuring that any policy in this area will see good results based on citizens' input.
Okay, now, Mr. Brambana, you mentioned, he also touched on citizen participation being improved, and tomorrow's program offers such a platform. Now, does it just end there?
Not at all. So what the program seeks to do is that various institutions in the country, even the media, have been using media ICT to ensure that citizens get their needs inputted into the medium-term development plan and the annual action plan, that which is the focus from which development projects are selected, yet the citizens' inputs are not there. So what tomorrow's program is going to do is that we are assembling a cross-section of NGOs, civil society organizations, to meet with policymakers, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Gender Ministry, all the agencies whose mandate are to ensure provision of quality service at the local assembly, to assemble. And we think about how best, so social accountability so far, years of implementation, what have been the success, what are the gaps, what's the way forward. That's exactly what we're going to do tomorrow. Think together with the policymakers to reshape, re-strategize, so as to make sure that going forward, there will be a feedback loop. Supply and demand come together. Let's shape the strategy so as to ensure that if it's water that we are providing, we are giving the best to the citizens. If it's education, we are giving the best to the citizens. It's not one loop-sided, not somebody sitting at the back of his chair, fashioning out, this is the plan I want to have for Amasaman, go and develop this for this area. How do you see that Amasaman wants that program? That's what we are seeking to do. So it's an assemblage of policymakers and think tanks to fashion, re-strategize, and see how local government works effectively to look to the needs and provide tailored needs to the citizens for whose interest the decentralizations came about.
All right, now, before I let you go, Kwame, he's spoken about NGOs, civil society groups. Now, we know that these organizations do a lot. And again, this multi-stakeholder approach given to it. Now, how are we going to ensure that while citizens play their part, civil society plays their part, and then also policymakers, government institutions, those who are put in those very specific authorities do their work after this program and after this launch?
It's what we call collective action, which means that we need to get more pathway for citizens to participate. And to do that, one, we need to mobilize citizens. I think you mentioned the role of civil society is very important, but we can do so much. But if you have more citizens quite active in the space, then the decision makers will realize that, look, if we don't set up, we are not going to get the results from the people. Now, remember that the citizens put the elected officials into office. Now, for them to assess them, it's through some of this mechanism, giving them the option to say that, look, what you're doing for us is not what we are looking for. If you don't give us what we are looking for, next time when we get to elections, for example, we may not vote for you. And we need to ensure that the decision makers realize that, look, it's like a partnership of a sort. They cannot claim that they know it all. So that, look, we are going to build a hospital for you or a clinic for you. One of the work we did in Adan, when we consulted the citizens, we were told that, look, the district wanted to put in a clinic close to their village. But they said, look, they need a KVIP. It's okay for them to walk to the next village. So by getting that input, better decisions have to be made. Okay. And we have to emphasize the point that, look, citizens cannot be inactive. They have to be active. And if they don't, we cannot get the results.
All right, thank you so much for your time. I have been speaking with Nana Kwabena Abrampamensah, Research and Programs CDD, and also Kwame Ahegbinu, Executive Director, Pemplice Light. Yes, and tomorrow the program is at Alisa. Be a citizen and be part of social accountability. And let's move on to other stories. Contractors working on the multi-million-dollar KGTR redevelopment project have extended the completion date to June. Litigation over the parcel of land on the site caused a delay, but the issue has been resolved and works have begun. Here's a report by Ibrahim Abubakar.
Over 8,000 traders would be accommodated when the project is complete. Petty traders and transport terminals would be allocated space, contrary to earlier suspicion by the traders that only shop owners will have access to the facility. The construction of a technical area, which houses the sewage system, water, electricity and gas installations, came to a halt due to litigation over the land area. Consultant of the project, Emmanuel Danso, says the matter has been resolved. With 80% of work completed, he is optimistic the project will be handed over by June this year.
For me, what is left here is the road network. As for the shops and other stuff, we are doing just the finishing touches. We are done.
The leadership of the traders' associations were conducted round the facility to familiarize themselves with progress of work.
So we, as the beneficiary, we should have been allowed in the first place to come and see. Today, they have made that possible, and we think we are very much happy.
Today is our first time of having access to the project. We've gone round with the leadership of the KGTR Traders Association. On our side, we may say we are impressed.
Completion of the first phase of a $300 million market is expected to boost economic activities in and around Kumasi.
And that's all for business. But today on MTN Video Report, Christian Tete reports on Ben's ECG polls at Kaswa.
As you can see, this area, you don't have pipe-borne water here. That is the water we use. We use for cooking. That's the way you do everything you like. See the color. The color. It's not good for one being to take. But that's the one you are taking. So we are pleading the government. Now, I don't to come to our aim to help us. Animals also taking the same thing with us. It's not fair. Reporting. Kaswa, Opanko, opposite Nurses Quarters.
And that was David Soglo's report on the water in Kaswa. You're still watching Media Live. Do stay with us. Other stories now, and 3 years after their birth, 2 of them have not been able to walk due to their malnourished condition. Lucy Ayambila brings us a story of quadruplets at Aguna Suedo in the Central Region whose parents are struggling to give the children a better life.
Born 3 years ago at the Aguna Suedo Government Hospital, life has not been easy for the family of these quadruplets. According to doctors' reports, Gabriel, Godwin, Gilbert and Gabriela are suffering from malnutrition.
I'm still working on trying to get some funds, mobilizing some funds, for them. The way the situation is, we cannot leave them like that. The lady was an apprentice. She was a seamstress, but because of the situation, she can't work anymore.
The poor financial status of the parents would not allow them to give of their best to their kids in terms of seeking medical attention and other social needs.
Easy.
It has not been easy catering for 4 children whose health conditions are not encouraging.
According to their parents, even though they would have loved to enroll the quadruplets in school, their financial status makes it impossible to do so. Gilbert is the worst affected. At age 3, he can neither crawl nor stand, not to talk of walking. The condition has been a great worry to their parents, but he sometimes tries to mention some words. We followed them to their rented apartment the next day after spending time with them at their grandmom's place in Bebianiha, a suburb in Aguna-Swedru. As usual, their father, James Pepra, who works with his master as a welder, has to help in their daily routine before he leaves for work. Diana Miranda told us she cannot work because of their condition. She appealed for both financial and material support from spirited individuals and corporate bodies. Lucy Ayambila, TV3 News, Aguna-Swedru.
We now go for international news.
Nigeria has deployed extra troops and planes to search for 110 schoolgirls believed to have been abducted by Boko Haram militants last week. The girls went missing after jihadists stormed their school in the town of Dapchi in the northeastern Yobe state on 19th February. President Muhammadu Buhari said it was a national disaster and apologized to the girls' families. Anger has been growing among the girls' parents amid reports that soldiers had been withdrawn from key checkpoints in Dapchi last month. 4 people have died in an explosion at a shop in Leicester in the United Kingdom. Residents said they heard a big thud like an earthquake at the time of the blast in Hinckley Road at about 1900 GMT on Sunday. 4 other people remain in hospital, one with serious injuries. Police believe there may be more people unaccounted for, and rescue efforts were continuing on Monday. At this stage, the explosion is not being linked to terrorism. The UN has renewed its appeal for an immediate truce in the besieged Syrian rebel-held Eastern Ghouta area amid reports of more deaths in airstrikes. The UN Security Council demanded on Saturday that all parties cease fighting for 30 days without delay. But the Syrian government's ally, Russia, said the truce would begin only once they had agreed how to implement it. It came as activists reported that 9 civilians were killed in a government airstrike on the town of Duma.
And let's now go for entertainment. And the search for DJ Swish's successor has begun as season 9 of TV3's Child Talent Hunt show, Talented Kids, has been launched. The show opened on Sunday evening with some amazing performances from 24 contenders.
After 8 impressive seasons, award-winning kids reality show Talented Kids is back with a bang. First episode of the 9th edition of Talented Kids kicked off with exciting performances from the children who sailed through the audition process.
Yeah, from a Accra back to Cape Coast, Daddy Aqua back to West Coast.
Like the rappers, The dancers, band groups and poets left nothing to chance. The Future Leaders Group looked amazing. This sketch on caring for and extending equal opportunities to people living with disability will be worth your time.
Ability is not a curse and an evil affliction. Let us love them as a kind. We are them who are appealing to the government of Ghana, stakeholders, and able citizens to give equal opportunity. All persons living with disability in Ghana, what they are a part of society.
Season 8 winner DJ Switch was also on hand to entertain the crowd. Parents have no excuse to support their children if they want to see them shine. That was the message of Beatrice Abbey, General Manager for MGTV.
I urge all parents to motivate their children to live their dreams.
Talented Kids will span 13 weeks. The winner will take home a cash prize of 10,000 cedis, a 15,000 cedi worth education investment fund, and a fully paid trip abroad. Who takes over from DJ Switch? Well, going by the opening show, Judge Benedict Yati thinks there could be surprises.
What the children have really exhibited tonight shows that season 9 is really going to be very exciting. It's going to be very competitive, and we should all look out for something mind-blowing. Any of the contestants, the 24 contestants, any of them is capable of emerging a winner, and we're looking forward to that.
All right, so there's more on Talented Kids in the subsequent minutes, so make sure you don't miss it. And still on the VGMAs, and Charterhouse will be unveiling the list of nominees for the 2018 VGMA Awards. But the question on the minds of many is, will Shatta Wale be a part of this very year's awards? And then remember, you can also, whilst we're trying to get you the story, you can get interactive with us. Send your comments on our social media platforms. Facebook and Twitter is News on TV3. Get interactive, send us your comments, tell us a lot more about what you want to see on that night. And remember, we'll bring you some more on the VGMAs. Let's go for that story now.
Between Charterhouse and are we having him?
I love to keep people in suspense. That is why I said let's wait for Friday, 2nd March, when the nominees are unveiled. I'm sure we would all know whether or not he's made the cut. But what I can tell you for sure is that this year his nominations were entered by his team and was accepted by the team also on behalf of the VGMA board. And I'm sure the board has done all its sittings. Today is Monday. By the end of this week, the nominations list will be out and we'll all get to know whether or not he makes the cut. But as to whether or not he entered, yes, he entered. As to whether or not his nominations were accepted, yes, they were accepted. And that presupposes that a lot of work has gone down in the background to ensure that all impasses are settled. So I'm sure, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that come Friday, 2nd March, when nominees are unveiled. You mentioned Charles Nyama Mensah. I would say Shatta Wale will be a part of it.
Blacklisting him, did it take any spice out of what still remains the biggest awards event in Ghana for 3 years?
Nobody blacklisted anybody. I cannot put it that way. Okay. Sometimes when you do something wrong and I give you the power to make it right, okay, the power is back in your hands. And that is why we kept saying that, like you media men agitated on his behalf, that, oh, but he has apologized here, he has apologized. Let's also admit the gentleman has done some good work apologizing on a number of platforms. So I wouldn't toe that blacklist line.
Okay, so the Ebony factor, a lot of calls for Ebony to be crowned artist of the year, but I know you have processes that you follow, the board and the public voting them. But what do you make of such calls, the clarion call for Ebony, who people feel did very well last year, to be considered as an Artist of the Year posthumous?
It is in the right direction. Everybody has a right to agitate for something. Everybody has a right to push for something. But I do not think that the demise of one artist to change the tenets or rules of engagement of the scheme. The scheme has over the years has its way of honoring those that may have passed, and may our sister soul rest in perfect peace. I think she should be honored just like other people have been artists. If she makes the final cut and is able to get a nomination, wouldn't treat everybody out there who loves her that much to come out well and show that love.
Remember, you heard it first here on TV3, and as you're aware, TV3 in partnership with Charterhouse signed to bring you some more entertainment in relation to the VGMAs. So keep watching TV3 for more updates on the VGMAs. That's all for this afternoon. My name is Wendy Lai. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Do have a lovely afternoon.